Hello. This is already so awkward. Okay. Hi, Mac here. And this is my video biography. Oh gosh, okay. Where do I start? Well, my full name is Mackenzie Marie Bruce, and my story begins on February 19th, 1999. So that makes me a Pisces. I was born at Holy Cross Hospital in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I was born into a beautiful family with my mother named Jessica and my father named Robert. And then I was a only child for a few years, very shortly lived, but my younger brother was born on September 24th, 2002. Zachary is his name. We had two dogs growing up, Sasha and Dallas. They both passed away now, but we currently have another Australian Shepherd named Ginger. My mom works at Pax Naval Air Base down at St. Mary's County, and then my dad actually works as a project manager with an electrical company down in Virginia. Just a little fun fact about my family, we've always been a motocross loving family. I kind of grew up around dirt bikes and everything in the motocross realm. My dad actually used to race, but he was in a really bad accident in May of 16. He takes it easy now, and he tends to just sit on the sidelines and kind of coach my brother. I guess you can say he learned from trying to keep up with the 16-year-old on a dirt bike. We actually have a motocross track in our backyard that we built a very long time ago, actually. We would add to, well, not we, but my dad and my brother would add to it every couple years when my brother's skills would grow and everything. So, my brother actually used to be able to ride back there, but now that he's bigger and everything, obviously he can't because he's on a bigger and much louder bike, so he can't ride back there for very long, otherwise we'll get noise complaints. As far as my extended family goes, on either side I have a huge family on both sides. On either side I probably have probably over a dozen cousins each, and I've always been closer to my mom's side of the family. My cousins on my mom's side, we're all so close. I think it's because we're a little closer in age than on my dad's side, but my two cousins, Kristen and Jenna, are like my two older sisters that I never had. We're so close, and whenever we get together, it's an event. We're pretty spread out though, as far as my mom's side, throughout the East Coast and everything. We even go over as far as Ohio and as south as North Carolina. Holidays are always fun because whenever the cousins come into town and everything just stops, and we host, I don't even know how many cousins for Thanksgiving. It's a lot of people. And oh my gosh, I remember the first year we hosted Christmas. It was just, there was one night where we just sat around my kitchen floor, and just all of the cousins just kind of talked and caught up on what we'd been doing previously that year. And let me tell you, my family has done some pretty cool stuff. I used to live in PG County up until my 3rd grade year. I lived in Bowie, PG represent. And when I moved to Calvert County, I actually transferred to Plum Point Elementary School. And it's an understatement to say that it was an adjustment. It took me a little bit, but I fairly quickly made a lot of friends, and began to really enjoy my time here. I even got into cheerleading. I didn't really do much sports other than that when I came here, but obviously when I was younger I did ballet and everything, and a little bit of dance, but I was exposed to cheerleading and I didn't stop. My mom was planning on putting my brother into football in the recreational football organization once we moved here, so she thought, oh, I'll put Kenzie in cheerleading since it'll be an easy drive to get them both to practice. I started off on a team called the Prince Frederick Eagles, and I fell in love with cheerleading. I finally had found something where it was actually acceptable to be loud and obnoxious and energetic and bubbly, because that's just what I am. And since I was always tiny, I was a flyer, which is the person that they kind of throw up into the air and everything. I will admit that it was a little scary at first, because when you're 8 and you're being thrown into the air by other 8-year-olds, it's a little intimidating. But then once I kind of figured everything out and everything, I quickly realized that all the attention was on you, so it was fun. It was very fun. And a few years later, though, I actually transferred to a different team. It was still with the recreational organizations here, but it was a different team. And this team was actually, it had a lot more of my classmates and the girls that I was going to school with, so I was able to get closer to some of my other classmates and everything. I ended up cheerleading for about 11 years. I cheered for the recreational organization up until I could finish. And then I cheered with all of my school's teams. In middle school, I did it every single year. In high school, I did it until my senior year. But then senior night, my senior year, I hung up my cheer shoes and kind of called it. I was happy with where I left it, but don't get me wrong, I miss it every single day. And whenever I come home, I try and go to at least one of the varsity football games at my high school just to catch up with everyone and see my coach and everything. I miss it a lot. And then when I actually started high school, once I finished with the recreational organization, I very quickly went back and decided to coach a younger cheer squad that was kind of going through the beginning teams. And I stuck with them all 4 years of my high school career, and I kind of grew up with them, and it was really cool to kind of see them grow, and it was an amazing experience. And my senior year, at the very end of the season, the big competition that the girls go to and compete in, my coach and I, my co-coach and I, we were able to get the girls a first place trophy, and I cried basically when the announcer called their name for first place. I was so proud of them. They had worked so hard that season, and I was very happy that I was able to leave my coaching career with them being in first place. It was amazing. But that alone was an experience, because I was able to share my knowledge with them and give them skills that I had been learning also. And it really was like I was growing up with them, and it was really cool. And it also gave me a greater appreciation for what kind of goes on the other side of things, behind the scenes and everything. The coaches dealing with parents and having to come up with the actual routines and stuff. Growing up and going through the organization as a cheerleader, it's much different than coaching and having to deal with coming up with the things that you're teaching them. It's a lot of work, but the reward is definitely worth it. And basically, I became very close with these girls, and obviously, when I come home, I try and make a trip to see them if their season is still going on, obviously. And as far as cheerleading goes, though, I was invited. I have been to Disney a few times for cheerleading, but I was also invited to go to London as an All-American cheerleader and cheer in the New Year's Day parade over in England. So it was a very cool experience to be invited to do something like that. As far as nicknames, growing up I was always known as Kenzie, Kens, Mac, and surprisingly I even got the nicknames Small Fry and Mac and Cheese. I'm not really sure why I got those, but for some reason they stuck. I don't know. see, as far as teaching, I first found out that I wanted to be a teacher when I was a freshman in high school. The idea was kind of always appealing to me, and I always kind of had a gut feeling that it was something that I would be really good at and that I would really, really enjoy. And just with my personality, I felt like it would really be a good fit for me. I always tell anyone that asks, my internship my senior year, I was able to have an internship in a 6th grade English class, and it was hands down one of the best experiences I've ever had. It taught me so much about just lesson planning on that caliber, and just building relationships with the kids and everything. It was amazing, and it was so much fun being able to get classroom experience while also not having that heavy pressure of the student teaching that comes with college and everything. So it was a very good introduction to what I would be exposed to. And again, same with the kids that I coached for cheerleading, I was able to build really, really strong relationships with some of these kids. One of the girls in the class was one of my cheerleaders on my cheer squad, so that alone was funny being in a class with her, because she was always a jokester and would always accidentally slip and call me Coach Kenzie, and I would have to correct her and be like, it's Miss Bruce. It was fun being in a class with them. I graduated high school being a TAM completer, which is the Teacher Academy of Maryland. So basically, I'm in this for the long haul, and this is definitely 100% what I want to do with my life, and I'm very excited to see what comes and what comes out of it. As far as right now, obviously I'm currently at Towson University. Towson was actually my #1 school because I knew how good of a teaching school it was and how respected it was in obviously the state of Maryland. I was fortunate enough to get my acceptance letter while I was still going through the application process. I believe I was still applying to University of Maryland and Salisbury. But I got my acceptance letter before I had finished those applications, so I decided to not send them in and pay for the application fee, just because I had already gotten into my #1 school. So I was very fortunate to not have to deal with too much of the stress that came with the application process. When I first got my acceptance letter, the first person I called was my mom, obviously, but then I also called my Aunt Jessica. She is a huge inspiration of mine. She was a teacher for a very, very long time. She was a middle school music teacher. She kind of got me into the idea of wanting to teach middle school. I hadn't really latched onto it and really accepted that was really what I wanted to do until my internship. But she was a huge inspiration to me with opening that door as far as getting into the teaching realm. And I thank her every time I see her for that, because it's amazing what she does. As far as clubs, I'm currently in a club here at school called SHH, or Students Helping Honduras. I won't give you the full elevator pitch because it'll take forever, but basically it's a non-profit organization that's mission is to alleviate extreme poverty through basically youth empowerment and education. The organization as a whole takes a trip down to Honduras every winter break to break ground and start the construction process on a new school in several different locations, but Towson's chapter as a whole, we go down. It's a big group of us, and we break ground and begin the process of building a school for some of the kids down in Honduras. It's an amazing experience. I have yet to go, but I'm planning on going this winter break. I'm so excited. It'll be my first time going, actually, and I've been brushing up on my Spanish. Let's see. I guess lastly I can start with a few fun facts about me. One of my huge life goals is I really want to travel. Amsterdam is my #1 place that I want to go, followed by probably Barcelona and even London. I love the idea of going over to Europe. And I've even thought about going abroad and teaching on a military base somewhere over in Europe. I just love the idea of traveling, and the fact that there's even a door out there where I can mix teaching and traveling and do both. It's definitely something that I want to pursue in the future. Another thing is I love concerts. As of right now, I've been to, let's see, the band Perry, Jonas Brothers, Dierks Bentley, One Direction, One Republic twice, Rixton, Taylor Swift, the Vamps, the Wombats, Jake Miller, Brad Paisley. I went to a music festival, G-Eazy, Demi Lovato, Florida Georgia Line, Panic at the Disco, and even Harry Styles. So yeah, I can't even count how many that is, but it's a lot. I love seeing artists live. I think it's such a cool experience. I'm very big, obviously, as you can probably tell, on spending money on experiences, not material things. I mean, you can't go wrong with having an amazing experience with friends, whether it's traveling, whether it's going to a concert that you've always wanted to go to. I'm very big on having good experiences with people and having those kind of things in my life. So yeah, that's pretty much all about me. I think I covered everything. Yeah, so thank you for listening, and that's me.
That's my birthday. Your bed over there. Corner, okay? Hey! Happy birthday, Mommy!
Thank you. Mwah. No kiss?
Yeah.
Cock-a-boo.
It's kind of like the before Mommy kind of frozen.
You're gonna blow your candles out?
It's frozen. Yeah. It's frozen.
Don't touch.
Yeah, it's frozen.
It's not frozen. It's been in the refrigerator. It's just cold.
Mom, can I taste it?
No, you're gonna have peace on a plate, okay?
Piece on the plate?
Yeah. Sit down on your butt.
Mommy, blue, yellow,
That's right.
and
Blue,
green,
yellow, and white.
and green,
That's right.
and yellow. Tackle. Okay?
Come on, take your hands out.
Oh!